So this recording is a little bit introspective. Uh, so I was arguing with this guy yesterday about, well, everything that happened in Aurora. Anyways, he just went on to gun control and so on and so forth. And clearly we're probably going to stand on different sides of the street on that one. However, it's not about that. The argument went on and on and on and on and on. You know, and basically from my take, and I posted it, you can see how he's not for guns, but he's very for violence at the end of the day. And if you listen to, it's Robert Dugan, it's on one of my posts, you can read, I just copied and pasted. I try to do it twice and keep it current, but nevertheless, the introspective part towards myself is this. So it's not that I was wrong or right. That's a side issue. The point is that I'm arguing with this guy, and one, that's kind of stupid on my part after a certain point. Two, it was like candy from a baby. I mean, you know the circle. You know the circle. When somebody doesn't have a stand to argue, like to argue on, and you present things or you bring up issues that are directly related, and they just kind of talk in circles, and then eventually when they can't argue anything, they personally attack you. Well, it was one of those. But here's the thing. So, when we were younger, we went to high school together. Junior high too, I think, somewhere along there. Anyways. And I used to smoke a lot of weed, hang out with the dope smoking guys at Door 6, Mayo High School. Anyways, and he was one of these guys that when you go to a party, he was a really nice. He wasn't a bad guy. He wasn't. But he wanted to really fit in. And he really wanted to fit in hard. And I can understand that. I just never gave a shit. I mean, I wanted to fit in, but fuck it. I mean, not gonna. Anyways. But people used to talk shit about him. He'd break out his weed, and everyone would smoke his shit. The guy would leave. People talk shit about him. And I don't remember myself ever doing that. I don't remember myself ever, The one time I remember being a real bully was when I was in 7th grade, and there's this little skinny Brookborn guy had a big old stack of books, and I knocked it down. And I'll tell you this, that made me feel like such an utter piece of shit after that. I grew up in kind of one of those neighborhoods, and yeah, but you know what, I never did it again. Kind of like when I stole a knife from Shopko down the street. I never stole. Well, there were a couple drunk nights where I swiped a pack of cigarettes, which not okay, not cool. I try to do community service. It's kind of something that I do it's an amends to myself. It's trying to make back to the community for the shit that I did when I wasn't doing such good stuff. I never got in trouble because I didn't really do that bad of stuff. But anyways, I digress. The point. I took personal joy out of looping him and just, bringing out his, I like to call it his asshole. But I took some real personal joy in that. And that is what I find the problem with myself to be. I believe in what I believe in. But damn, I mean, it was just, I don't know if anybody, I decimated him. It was like, and I decimated him with just basic stuff. I mean, it's basic. If you study any kind of history, and it's hard to even understand how somebody could argue it. But anyways, nevertheless, yeah, that not okay. And that in my fight for freedom and my belief in natural rights, whichever avenue I may take, hopefully it will be a non-violent one, because I don't believe that peace comes from violence. However, I also don't see self-defense as violence. But I guess my point being, yeah, that's not cool. That's not cool. When I look for the hypocrite in others, I need to take a step back and look for the hypocrite in myself. And surely I find it all the time. And these are the things that, as I try to persuade, because I believe the only way to really truly persuade is to try to live by example. I stand by my principles. Don't get me wrong. However, I don't believe in forcing other people to see things the way I do, or to pay for things the way I see things to be by force. However, you know, that's, I think, the moral for me for today, is to try to pay attention more to that, because as things ignite in this country, which you, if you've been paying attention, are actually globally, they've been igniting for a very long time. Greece, Spain, I mean, that's a list, and that's not talking about the other stuff that isn't protest, which is basically genocide, which is happening all across the globe. If you look at it, it's genocide. It's actually democide, because it's generally the governments that are armed against the civilians that are not. And I would never want to fight against my country, ever. You hear me? Ever. 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 I'd rather take a... Well, I don't really want to take a bullet. I'm not stupid either. I mean, this shit really does scare me. However, you know, that's another thing that I've had to think about. I mean, this is very scary stuff we're talking about. I mean, I try to study as much history as I can, and the beauty of the internet is there's so many documentaries from so many different points of views, but ultimately they all underline the same theme if you read between it. When citizens in the world generally don't have arms for themselves, for self-defense, this is not for hunting turkeys. The reality is that it is for self-defense, whether it be from the guy down the street or your government. I mean, we see police that are violating people. I'm sorry, but and this is no threat, because I think 98% of the police out there are good. But you know, your fucking 2% that's out with you, you need to put them in check. That is your job. You're a civil servant. It is not a job. It is, well, no offense, it is what is the word I'm looking for? No, it's not a job. You know, yeah, you get paid, but when you swear that oath, you know, it's a service to your country. And so if you're beating your Americans or shooting them with rubber bullets or attacking dogs on them, where did I see that? Nazi Germany. Anybody compare all this shit going on? Can you just relate that at all? Study some history, please. Please. And before I go on a rant here, because that's what I'm going to try not to do. I love you. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. Yeah, you know, it's kind of along the lines with everybody, you know. Judge, you know, got to judge yourself too. You got to really look into yourself, because hypocrisies destroy. The truth will set you free, and if it doesn't, die trying for the truth, because ultimately that is where our freedom lies. Thank you very much.